In my opinion, a lot of people talk about innovation, but I think if you don't understand some of the thinking behind the creative side of it, and how it actually gets implemented in companies, then innovation just remains something that gets talked about. This, for me, is really about generating creativity, that creativity is a human trait. It's not owned by any one discipline, and it's, in my opinion, a creative response to any type of change and how you deal with the unexpected. So the creative economy, John Hawkins wrote a very good book called The Creative Economy, and he talks about how it's the fastest growing business in the world, and it's based on the growing power of ideas, and that the industries of the 21st century will depend increasingly on the generation of knowledge through creativity and innovation, and that it's increasingly important to economic well-being on an individual level, but also locally and globally. And the creative industries are seen as one of the best ways to increase competitive advantage between countries and companies. So with countries, it's about growing creative cultures in the economy, creating quality of life, a nice place to live. Commercial companies, it's usually through the differentiation and competitive advantage and through the provision of innovative products and services. I don't know, I get the feeling that we talk a lot about, I don't know, analytical thinking and creative thinking, but I'm not convinced we actually implement it within organizations in a structured way. So just bear with me because we are going somewhere with this. So analytical thinking, logical, there are unique or few answers. You consolidate ideas and practices, and you need creative leaps if progress and innovation are to be made. So this is very much a linear thinking process. And creative thinking requires imagination. There are many possible ideas and answers. The analysis comes later, and it's about sorting out which ideas to take forward. So, you know, typically we might look at creative thinking as the approach that's stimulated a lot in art and design. Art especially, where there is no such thing as a right answer. It's just a personal response. Analytical thinking is definitely something that's more in the field of, let's say, accountancy. Even engineering, depending how you're trained in engineering, it can be about getting to a solution as quickly as possible, as opposed to exploring different solutions. So they are different ways of thinking, but they are linked and they complement each other. I'm not a believer in people being one or the other, it's both and, but it's just about recognizing which mode of thinking you're in. This next section is still about managing creativity, and I think in my experiences the biggest challenges with managing creativity are you know, removing obstacles that kill creativity, and that's about identifying barriers to creative thinking. If you can address this issue, then it leaves individuals and teams and organizations open to really start to go after innovation processes and how those fit in organizations. So a lot of this, it's kind of very basic building block stuff, but if you get this right, everything else fits after that. So these are in my opinion, the most common barriers to creative thinking. The first biggest one are habits, people's habits. Those are self-imposed barriers. We've always done it like this. I've always done like this, just the way I am. Establishing a pattern or one unique answer. So you may have a particular discipline that's trained to only look for one solution, and that's their sign of success. Conformity, giving the answer that's expected. Lack of effort in challenging the obvious. Evaluating too quickly. And fear of looking foolish. So when managing for innovation, are there processes that can help unlock and release innovation within organizations? The answer is yes. But I suspect there'll be lots of new emerging processes happening right now, especially to do with things like open innovation. But within particularly the university I work for right now, which is called In Holland in the Netherlands, we work in a kind of interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary way. And what we do is we take academic theories, models, and processes from different subject areas, and we're very unprecious with them, which would make most academics, you know, scream with horror. But we're an applied sciences university, and I encourage people to take academic theories and models and to break them apart and combine them together in different ways, because some of the historical models we have don't work for interdisciplinary processes, but some of them do. And it's just about, you know, designing processes as part of the design problem, I guess, not just the design of the process is as important as the problem space you're trying to approach.